Identifying and developing your personal strength is a big deal. This is because it not only enhances your performance as an individual, it also offers you the opportunity to learn more about yourself. It's no longer news that these strengths vary from person to person. While some are incredible in the arts, others are much more comfortable in the sciences. But whatever category you fall into, the first step to becoming a superhero with your strength is to identify it. But how do you find your strength? Well, that's what we're here to help you with today. In this video, we'll take a look at 15 interesting ways you can find out what makes you different. Ready to get started? Let's dive into it. Welcome to ALUX. Number 1. Find out what's easy for you and hard for others. Whether you know it or not, there's something that just comes easily for you. It could be painting, dancing, fixing items around the house, or even organizing files. All of your life, you've probably thought everybody could do it because of how easy it's always been for you. But that's not actually the truth. That's exactly what makes you different. And you know what would make you stand out? Becoming extremely good at this thing. When you become an expert at something that comes easily to you, it'll naturally make you feel like you stand out from other people. Number 2. What you have a natural inclination toward. Let's try a quick experiment. Close your eyes and think of one thing that you always naturally gravitate toward. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it sports, music, writing? Whatever it is, there's a huge chance this is one thing you've always wanted to do. Now, it's sometimes difficult to get back in touch with this natural inclination, and this is usually due to the fact that you've allowed your environment and the opinions of others to condition your mind. You might have been told that writing isn't a profitable field, or that great people do not make music. You might not know this, but this societal conditioning has caused you to give up on your strengths, even though it's what makes you, you. To break free, you must turn a deaf ear and a blind eye to this conditioning and follow your heart. Wherever it leads, you will find your strength. Number 3. Rediscover old passions. What was one thing you enjoyed doing as a child? Or what was that wild dream you had that everyone told you would be pointless to pursue? Well, guess what? This old passion is key to discovering one of your strengths. Most of the time, our childhoods reflect a pure self, a sense that isn't tainted by societal conditioning or the opinions of others. So it means that whatever passion or strength you discovered as a child isn't due to your society or the opinion of others, but something that comes purely from within you. Rediscovering this passion is not just important for finding your strength, it could also help you to tilt your life in the right direction, especially if you've had a difficult time figuring out what you want to do with your life. Number 4. Find out the things you would do even if you weren't paid for it. Nobody likes to work for free, but come on, we know there's something you would do any day, anytime, without anyone having to pay you for it. Now, this is not an indication that you should work for free. Everyone needs to be compensated properly for every task they complete. It's only a tactic that will help you to put yourself into focus so you can see what makes you different from everybody else. After discovering your strength through this process, you can now charge others every time you use this unique strength to complete tasks. Number 5. Ask your friends. If there's anyone who knows you just as well as your family does, it's gotta be your friends. And you trust your friends, right? Then you can ask them what they think about you. The problem with discovering your strength on your own is this: you might end up forming a biased opinion of yourself. While some people would think too highly of themselves, others would think too poorly of themselves. Including your friends in this discussion will help you to create a perfect balance. Ask your friends for their genuine opinion, and if you've known each other for quite some time, they will definitely have something to say. Now, it's vital you ask as many of your trusted friends as you can. Then you can create a list of the strengths that have been consistently mentioned, and including the ones that only a few of your friends mentioned. The consistent items will be your evident strengths, perhaps even ones you've already noticed yourself. However, the ones only a few friends mentioned are equally as important. It gives you an opportunity to learn new things about yourself. This is because your friends can see certain strengths that only come to the forefront in specific situations. Number 6. What people tell you you are good at. Now that we've talked about your close friends, it's important to also factor in the opinions of other people. You've probably had a teacher, a colleague, or an employer commend you and tell you how good you are at something. Has that ever happened to you? Do you remember exactly what it is? If somebody who doesn't share a close relationship with you notices something distinct about you, don't you think that says a lot? It means that there's something about you that stands out. Whatever this thing is, pay attention to it. There's a huge chance it's one of your strengths as a person. Number 7. Take a strengths test. A strengths test? Is that even a thing? Well, yes, actually it is, and it has nothing to do with lifting weights. Just like there are aptitude and personality tests, there's a bunch of strengths tests you can take online. However, due to an increase in the number of tests available, it can be pretty difficult to find a test that has valid results. But ALUX has done the heavy lifting for you, and here are some of the tests you can try right after watching the video. The Clifton Strengths Assessment is one of the most popular options available to you, and it takes no more than 30 minutes of your time. Through a series of questions and statements, this test assesses your personality and helps you to identify your strengths. Even though this test displays your strengths in terms of Clifton Strengths themes, it's a pretty good start to point you in the right direction. Another valid test is the DISC Personality Assessment Tool, which helps you to identify your strengths through 4 major behavioral profiles. These profiles, which are steadiness, influence, dominance, and conscientiousness, will be measured through 80 different statements. What makes this tool pretty cool is it strives to see what unique blend based on the 4 different behavioral profiles you possess. Then, of course, it explains this blend in simpler terms for you to easily understand. Number 8. Always ask for feedback. Okay, this particular one might not sit well with everybody, but come on, constructive criticism, even though it's not always pleasant, is necessary for growth. Asking for feedback not only helps you to discover your strengths and weaknesses, it also shows you're committed to becoming better at what you do. It implies you have a unique drive to succeed at what you're doing. Feedback from colleagues, friends, and employers will help you to see your strengths and understand how you can become even better. Number 9. Understand yourself. How do you identify your strengths as a person if you don't even know who you are? Understanding who you are, your triggers, goals, passions are all important in helping you to discover your strengths. In fact, by making the conscious effort to understand your personality, you're taking unconscious steps toward discovering your strengths. And if you don't want to do the heavy lifting in determining your type of personality, there are also a lot of online personality tests available to you. One great option is the 16 Personalities Test. It's free and it helps you identify your personality type and shows you how it affects your life and relationships with other people. So, if you've always struggled with the question of who you are, it's not the be-all end-all, but it's a good starting point. Number 10. Try new things. Imagine you never find your greatest strength because it was something you said you'd never do. That would be a shame, right? Sometimes your strength might not be found in your typical hobbies and everyday activities. It just might be found in that new activity you always put off. Don't make the mistake of undermining how much you can do. push yourself to try new things that are out of your skill set. Take risks, because you'd be surprised at the strengths you'll discover. Number 11. Learn new skills. In the vein of trying new things, you should definitely consider learning new skills. This could be skills tied to your current field or skills that have nothing to do with your current field. Why is this important, you ask? Well, branching out offers you a rare chance to test yourself in new waters. Who knows? You just might be a genius at it. Now, imagine if you never tried this new skill in the first place. The world would unfortunately miss out on your strength and talents. To prevent this from happening, learn new skills, and you just might discover one more interesting strength that you can add to your list. Number 12. Keep an open mind. Finding your strength can be a complicated process, but this doesn't mean it's impossible. As you advance down the road, you're bound to discover new and interesting things about yourself. So rather than dismiss them, keep an open mind. Always remember that the idea is to get a better understanding of yourself, and discovering new things is a major part of that process. Keeping an open mind also helps you to see and accept unexpected qualities about yourself, which in turn could lead to a field that you never considered yourself in. It's also perfectly okay if you discover that your childhood passion doesn't reflect your strength. Just as much as we are creatures of habit, we're creatures of change too, and learning to understand that change is a major part of our lives as humans that will make it way easier to accept newer and better versions of yourself. Number 13. Identify your personal weaknesses. If you want to identify your strengths, well, you must be willing to identify the not-so-great parts of yourself. Choosing to ignore your weaknesses isn't going to make you a hero. Instead, it'll have a profound effect on your strength-finding process. But here's the thing. Identifying your weaknesses is way different from allowing them to affect your life. You need to know your weaknesses, but you must strongly refuse to allow them to control your life. Instead, focus all of your energy on cultivating your strength while staying aware of your weaknesses. And as we mentioned in a previous video, we shouldn't bother so much about converting your weaknesses into strengths. Instead, delegate those things to other individuals who do have that as a strength, and focus on developing your own strengths, because that way, everybody gets to thrive. Number 14. Discover what makes you productive. We all become our best selves in specific types of environments. Some work better in quiet and lonely environments with soft music playing in the background. Others become their best selves in a shared working environment, where others are present with the ambiance of human activities in the air. Perhaps yours is a little more specific than these, but whatever it is, it's critical that you find the sort of environment which aids in your productivity and creativity. But it's not just about your environment. Certain factors could also hinder or enhance your productivity. There might also be specific hours of the day when you're most productive. Identify these hours by creating a list of times where your productivity was at its peak. Number 15. Write things down. Writing things down? How's that supposed to help? Hey, just give us a chance to explain, all right? Have you ever noticed that writing things down helps you to understand your thoughts more clearly? That's right. This is because writing is a cognitive process, and for every word you write down, your mind has gone through a filtering and sorting process. In regards to your strengths, writing helps you to create a more detailed description of what you can do, which helps you develop a more insightful understanding of your skills. To get started, write down everything you believe you can do, plus the things you have a strong passion for. Then, try to remember scenarios when these strengths were proven to be useful in problem solving, and you're golden. Whew, there we go. 15 interesting ways to discover that super strength that makes you unique. Thanks for sticking around until the very end of the video, Alux, or as a token of our appreciation, we've got an extra tip for you, your bonus. Find a support group. The sort of people you associate yourself with says a lot about you, and it also affects how you feel about yourself. If you're surrounded by folks who can't see anything positive about you or themselves, it's only a matter of time before this starts to impact your behavior, how you see yourself, and your thinking process. But if you're surrounded by individuals who spew positivity every moment, who support your dreams and encourage you to become better, well then, my friend, you're on the path to greatness. A support group will make you better, while a group filled with negative-minded folks will do the exact opposite. You already know which group we're rooting for. Have you got some smart ways we can discover our strengths? Because we'd like to hear what you have to say in the comments. Thanks for spending some time with us today. We're so glad you did. If you found value in today's video, please give us a like, hit that bell icon to never miss an upload, and don't forget to subscribe.